the students set out to try and win a concession from the politicians too.
This is 3 News.
Truckies weren't the only protesters out in Auckland, so were students who launched a campaign to combat student debt. They're calling for a universal student allowance and they want some election year promises. Melissa Davies reports.
Don't agree, what do you get?
How much student debt do you have?
About $30,000.
It sounds a lot, but around 80,000 students owe even more. Student unions say debt levels are crippling and they've launched a campaign called Kiwi Bankrupt. They want the government to hand out living allowances to all students. Currently, only about a third qualify.
It'll certainly be an investment, but it's a matter of priorities, and I think this is really important for New Zealand.
But the government says it's already making progress, pointing out an extra 17,000 students became entitled to allowances in last May's budget.
We've now got stabilised fees, they're paying no interest. And so quite logically from their point of view that's going to be their next point of focus, and our response is we will move towards a student allowance but not in one fell swoop to a student allowance.
Just under 500,000 students are in debt to the government, owing an average of almost $17,000. Although that figure includes some with very high debt, so the adjusted average student in the red owes about $11,000. For well over 1,000 students, the burden is $100,000 or more. Most in trouble are 20 people who owe twice that much.
It's depressing. I'm not going to be able to get into the housing market. Graduate wages are so low. It's going to be years and years before I can pay it back.
Student union leaders say around 90% of students do still work part or full time while they're studying, but it's not enough to make ends meet. They say debt on loans and credit cards for students has increased 54% since 2004.
Given those stats, students say the only thing the government can bank on is graduates taking off overseas. Melissa Davies, 3 News.